Shiflett. She is a member candidate of Workers' World Party. She's passionate about anti-fascist work, community healing practices, and restorative justice in leftist organizations.
Hello. I'm talking today about women workers in the context of the Me Too movement, and I only have 3 minutes, so bear with me. Only under capitalism could workers, particularly those of oppressed genders, experience the level of sexual violence that has been exposed by the hashtag Me Too movement. The Me Too movement, originally started in 2006 by Tarana Burke, a black woman, was to help others heal from sexual violence, has exploded in the last several months as mainstream media and Hollywood has finally begun to call out powerful bourgeoisie men for their sexual violence, but this time with a rallying cry for vengeance and for justice. And just as its name suggests, the experiences of women that have been highlighted by this movement are far too familiar for far too many of us. Outside of just Hollywood, the workplace is not a safe place for oppressed genders. The U.S. Equal Opportunity Commission reported that 45% of all harassment claims were sex-based claims. 45%, that's almost half. What we know about these statistics is that they are reflective of only a small part of the working class population. They do not include, of course, the incidences that are not reported. They do not include migrant workers. They do not include undocumented workers. They certainly do not include sex workers. The statistics are 1 in 4 women are sexually assaulted, but I would propose if we asked all oppressed genders that the statistic is more likely 1 in 2. So how is this a function of capitalism? As Marx highlighted, the relation between man and woman, etc., becomes an object of trade. Marx was critical of the hierarchical and diametrically opposed relationships between men and women. Through maintaining a social relationship where men are considered superior in their ability to contribute to labor, feminized labor is seen as insignificant, unworthy of compensation, unskilled, thus creating a population of people that is easier to exploit, oppress, and kill. Representation in the workplace has of course increased on a global scale, but as we know, the solution to gender violence in the workplace against all workers is not more oppressed genders functioning as CEOs. It was Marx who said, everyone who knows anything of history also knows that great social revolutions are impossible without the feminine ferment. Social progress may be measured precisely by the social position of the fair sex. Me Too has been a mainstream illustration of what people of oppressed genders have known for quite some time. What we are seeing now is another great wave of people taking in the lessons and disappointments from generations previous. That is the thing about gender oppression and relationships with men. The bar is in hell. Every little progression forward is like a relief of breath, but we are still gasping for air. In the wake of this movement, I call out to my comrades, specifically the cis men in the crowd. How are you treating the women in your life? How are you treating the non-binary people in your life? Are you using your femme friends as crutches for your own emotional shortcomings? Are you being tender with your lovers? If you're a man in the movement with considerable access and power, are you gatekeeping that access? Are you picking and choosing people for the movement like tokens? If you're a cis-het man, are you investing in women comrades because you're genuinely interested in their development, or are you just trying to fuck them? If it seems harsh that I am asking these things, then I implore you to reflect and think again. Men on the left must be reflecting on the power they hold in social relationships, in interpersonal relationships, in the way that they hold space. Men must be honest with themselves. Men must not forget the incidences and trauma that oppressed genders carry with them, are forced to carry with them. Even Marx himself, though ahead of his time, would be in need of maybe a nudge about his treatment of women. That is how socialization functions. And it is up to us to peel away the toxic layers bit by bit to cultivate a world that offers true liberation. Thank you.